People protest because they object to being oppressed. And we still have to protest because we continue to be oppressed. For 4 centuries, we've been fighting for equality, and yet it is beyond the government's comprehension that we're protesting against oppression. You see, if we weren't being oppressed, we simply wouldn't protest. Because no one's protesting for no reason. To protest is a plea for some government action. Because they make the laws. They have the opportunity to do something to address the inequality. You see, Black Lives Matters to we, just as white lives matter to white people. But when we say Black Lives Matter, because we are impacted disproportionately by police brutality, somehow this causes controversy. Let's get the right perspective. Let's get some clarity. You see, when the native British feel one of their own has been oppressed or are the victims of murder by someone outside their ethnic group, the media and the general public are apoplectic with rage. They react to the fact they've been targeted for attack. They're angry because they perceive the attack on them, the targeting of them, their group, by others as an outrage. Because, quite simply, the murder of those they identify as belonging to their group matters to them. And we're no different. But some won't understand or refuse to understand that the way they react when they feel they're under attack is no different to how we react. Do you get me? Our lives matter to us, just as their lives matter to them. The same outrage, the same anger is felt when people of one group feel they're being targeted and murdered by another ethnic group. The same way the indigenous British feel when one of their own is murdered, oppressed, or victimized by someone outside their ethnicity is no different to how we feel about being murdered, oppressed, or victimized. But there's one big difference. Our oppression is by state employees, by the police, who people are told are there to protect and serve the public. Are you following me? Black lives matter to we, just as white lives matter to the British. But the way some carry on, protesting against we, who are protesting against police brutality, that's a level of disconnection that I can't fathom. They will counter-protest with the slogan, all lives matter. They're counter-protesting us saying, our lives matter, by saying, all lives matter. But they can't see the contradiction of their counter-protest. And you have to be a special kind of stupid to be unable to see the hypocrisy. One has to be so ignorant and devoid of any intelligence that not only do they not understand the hypocrisy, they fail to see the distinction between members of the public acting criminally and how this cannot be equated with those who are supposed to be protecting the public. Those who are supposed to be protecting the public are actually doing the oppressing and brutalizing of certain sections of society. We, with the Black Lives Matter protests, are trying to appeal to government to intervene, to bring in policies to protect we from their employees. Our plea is against police brutality, because the government has some authority. Yet somehow, some white people got offended because we say our lives matter to we. And just as you have the foolish counter-argument that all lives matter, there's another nonsense counter-argument said by the particularly stupid, which is, well, if black lives mattered, there wouldn't be black on black crime, would there? And my contempt for those who think this is a valid statement is infinite. I call these people the brain dead, those with no IQ, because to seek to minimize and disregard a valid plea, which is to protect we from police brutality, with such an inane statement, being unable to comprehend that there is violence perpetuated by white people on white people. That white people have been violent to brown people, to black people, to yellow people and red people. That white people can be violent too, both within and outside their ethnic group. So that shows to me a level of absolute stupidity. Whoever says that has the IQ of a peanut. People who say this should have a tattoo on their forehead which says, I am stupid. So no one has to waste their time trying to reason with somebody who's an imbecile. You get me? This year, in 2020, we had a protest to get the government to get its employees to stop being brutal to we. And what did the government do? They decided to pass a law to protect their statues. You heard me. They were outraged that the statues were being attacked because the statues' lives mattered more than black lives mattered. Doppy them. Thank you for watching. Please share widely. Please subscribe to my channel. More videos coming soon.